Welcome to Digital Hospitality. I am your host, Sean Walchef. This is a Cali BBQ Media production. Every single week, we talk about our ongoing thesis, and that is digital hospitality. Every business needs to be digital first, and every business also needs to be in the hospitality business. What exactly does that mean? We are a barbecue brand that became a media brand, and what we try to do every single week is bring on people that are playing the game within the game. And what we're talking about is smartphone storytelling. So breaking the internet down to make it simple. We get so worried about how difficult it is to be on social media. Why should I be on social media? Why should my business be on social media? Well, ultimately, what are we doing? We're telling stories through audio, through video, through written word, and through images. And the more that you, the listener to this podcast, can start to use that smartphone in your pocket to start to use these different tools that we have available to us, the more that you can amplify your message, the more connections that you can make. And today's guest is somebody that I'm very excited to bring on because it's literally the thesis. It is our thesis, our digital hospitality thesis. What do you do on social media? What do you do with digital media? How do you make digital connections that become in real life connections, that become deep connections, people that actually move your life forward? So today's guest slid into my DMs, my Instagram DMs, and asked me, number one, give me context. I'm also in Southern California. Your business is impressive. I have something that I think you might be interested in. I want to introduce you to some people. And it was a link to Clubhouse. And if you are a fan of this podcast, you know that the last recent 3 months, we've been talking about Clubhouse every single week, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We do a digital hospitality room on Clubhouse. A lot of you listeners have joined that. We absolutely love Clubhouse because it is deep social. It's an audio platform that allows you to share your story, but then you can put in your bio, and you can also put a link to Twitter and a link to Instagram. All of a sudden you can make connections on Clubhouse, which we have done, where they have become in real life connections. Literally, I was in New York City for Toast, our primary technology partner, at our restaurant, their IPO, and I connected with people that I had met through Clubhouse. People have come to the restaurant that have come through Clubhouse. And today's guest is Steven Musielski, the international man of mystery, somebody that I can't tell you how much I respect the work that he's doing with the 413 experience. So the 413 experience, I'm going to let him describe it, talk about the origin story behind it, talk about why you, the listener of this podcast, should join the room, why you should take the 10-day challenge that I took. So at 3:38 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I agreed to Steven that I would show up on Clubhouse for 10 days straight. And I came for 10 days straight. And not only was I impressed with how he moderated the room, the community that he was building, the inspiration that he gave, but the people in the room that are from all over the globe, the people that are now listening to this podcast. I've never had a podcast guest where I reached out and I asked a community, I said, please submit questions for this podcast guest. Literally, I have six different people in my Instagram DMs sending me so many questions that I would have to have Steven on for 6 different episodes just to get through all the questions that were submitted. So the international man of mystery, he comes with so much hype. Steven, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you so much. So I want to thank you for having me on. I heard the barbecue thing and I said, oh, okay, I got to come on, barbecue interview. Because it's just, I thought, so somebody interviews me from barbecue. I said, I have to say yes. You've been on there 10 days straight. It's 3:38 in the morning. That's early. I mean, it's hardcore. It's hardcore. Asking somebody to be on pre 4 a.m. Part of it was inspired, admittedly, by seeing things like TED Talks that value of being up at 4 in the morning. You see people like Jocko, he takes a picture of his phone at like 4:33. I'm like, and I bust his chops going, well, man, why are you sleeping in so late? It's just fun. so part of it's snarky and fun. But here's the origin of it. The origin of it dates back prior to Clubhouse. I did some live events. We do them at 5:30 in the morning and live on Saturday morning, 5:30 in the morning. And those were at Starbucks. About 50 to 75 people would show up to those. Prior to that, it was about 12 people that would show up to just a small thing. And before those, I was just staying in touch with people through just an email list, about 10,000 people. And I'd email them, 6 in the morning. but the Clubhouse was just a series of iterations, where it just became, oh, let's see if this works. Let's see if this works. Let's see if this works. Hundreds and hundreds of small little tests, and connecting with people from all over the world, every place of London, New Zealand, Korea. I mean, that's every day. It's people from all over the world, and so it's fascinating to see where it'll be going. But right now, if you come in, what you'll get is an experience where you get three main things. So say you're a leader of any kind, say you run a business, say you're a leader of any kind, you come in, and what you'll get out of that, you will get three things. First, we'll kick off with thankfulness. Let me turn this off. Did you hear the voice in the background?
That's fine.
Okay.
You're
I
good.
didn't know if you heard that. It's like,
no, you're
dun,
good.
dun, dun.
It's okay. We don't edit anything. If we're talking about storytelling, I mean,
perfect. That'll be part of the story, right?
It is part of the story.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
before you go on, this is my show, Steven. You're not moderating the room. Like the 413, Steven lays down the rules. I'm laying down the rules here. Number one, I want to thank you for coming on the video platform, for doing this Zoom call, which we're going to publish as a YouTube podcast, which we will clip up for Instagram, which we will clip up for TikTok. For us, it's understanding that there's so many different ways that people consume content. There's so many different ways that we learn, so many different ways that we get inspired. And so many of the people that come to the community of the 413, they know your voice. Very few of them, even though you have shared your video where you've done man-eaters versus vegans, which has had over 5 million views on YouTube. We'll put a link in the show notes so you guys can see that. But it's so powerful once you put a face to a voice. And now that you're putting your face to the voice, I want to thank you and for your courage to come on and do that. Please take the compliment.
Okay, I will take that. And I appreciate you coming on. The 413, there's just so many ways. When I think about the 413, the community is it's a powerful group of people, totally unexpected. You couldn't predict who was going to come, who's not going to come. So there's still this who then what type of situation that's happening, because you don't know who's going to be there. So based on who shows up, that's going to determine the direction you can go with stuff. Business-minded people, personal development-minded people, leadership type of people, who's going to show up is going to determine the direction of everything. And so sometimes it's still a mystery. We do it 7 days a week. We don't know for sure who's going to be there every day, and we just kind of roll with who's ever there. And but that's the fun part about it, is you don't know what's going to happen, and there's an excitement to that. There's an uncertainty about that, but in a really fun way. And ask me more questions, and maybe I can take it in a direction you think should be taken.
I love to talk about structure, so let's talk about just the idea. So the idea of the 413, it started with this 530 men's group. Is that correct? It was a men's group that you started to get people, leaders coming, connecting, networking. One of your greatest skill sets is that you're willing to test, you're willing to ask questions, you're willing to do things that so many people aren't willing to do, to bring people together, to make deals happen. And that's one of the things that has attracted me to the room that you put in, is because there are people literally making genuine connections from all over the globe, which is the power of the internet, but more specifically, the power of what Clubhouse does is this audio storytelling room where you can raise your hand, your voice can be heard, someone can be attracted to what you're doing. Why did you name it the 413? What does the 413, if you start at 338, why was it not 338 and not 413?
At first, it started at 338. And no, not 330. It started at 413 at first, right? Okay. So I met some people, and it was based on Philippians 413. I can do all things through Christ, and it was kind of interesting because the people that helped me were all Muslim, and it was just interesting. So the people that launched it, and I thought, 413. Let's just do it at the crack of dawn. 413, just because at first it was this used to be the old one. This time I used to do it on the Zoom call. Mm-hmm. And let me see if we can see that. So it used to be 514.
Okay.
And that was when it was on Zoom. This was this has never been seen before. I don't
there
think
it is, the 514.
It's a 514 rock, because you need to have rock strategy. Like that's blue ocean strategy.
There you go.
You got to have rocks, right? So rock reminders. But so it went from live, and then it went to Zoom, and then somebody on Zoom told me, no, you got to get onto this Clubhouse thing. And I had no interest in getting on Clubhouse. The person that brought me on he became very popular on Clubhouse, and so it just became like one thing led to another, because I really didn't plan on going on an audio app and building a community on an audio app. So it's kind of a lot of encouraging people. A lot of people said, "Hey, look, Steve, you should just keep doing this and keep doing it." And then it just kept going and going, because I get encouraged by the people who say, "Hey, look, just keep rolling with it." Part of me just like, what am I doing here? But then there's this other part that, for example, when you came on, one time when you got to connect with a CEO of a few publicly traded company CEOs were on there. One was with you, and that was really super inspiring, because here you have a CEO of a med tech company, publicly traded med tech company, and I'm engaging with him and you and other friends of mine, and so it's becoming a meeting place where you're getting to meet with people 7 days a week, and we meet 7 days a week for about an hour 22 minutes. So you go on, you're there for an hour and 22 minutes. It doesn't go much longer. That starts at 3:38, ends at 5. And, we go over things that will move you forward. Personal development, we'll talk about business, and there'll be guests often that'll just come in, and it's fun. I mean, I think the part that is interesting is every day is different, and you don't know exactly precisely what to expect. Somebody new comes in, or somebody comes in that on a topic. We'll talk about leadership topics that are different every day. But that's the fun part. So
I'm going to pepper in some of the questions from the 413 that were submitted as we go along with the conversation, because Alan is phenomenal. He literally submitted 14 questions from industry40club.com. It's at Lost in Traffic. Alan, thank you for all of the questions. One of the ones that stood out to me was, Steven, if you're doing this 7 days a week, every single day on the West Coast at 3:38 in the morning, how do you keep your personal and your mental state so that what happens if Steven doesn't show up? Because there was a day that I came into the room and it was 3:40 and there was no Steven.
Yeah, and it was interesting. Do you remember who the person is that took over when I wasn't there?
I don't remember that.
Because what I wanted to do is there was three guests I had there, and it was kind of an interesting thing. One of the guests that it actually automatically moderated a person that I brought as a guest. And it was kind of interesting to see what would happen, because I came in, I think I got there at 3:45, because I come in, we start at 35 minutes early, because it's 4:13. We started at 35 minutes early. So I'm trying to build up this margin of error of 35 minutes, because there's Lombardi time, which is 15 minutes early. So I said, well, why don't we like crush Lombardi time and do 35 minutes early, and see if anybody will pick up that it's like the double. The Lombardi's was, oh, if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. I said, let's do 35 minutes and see if anybody picks up on what is 35-minute early time. I don't know.
Wait, so you're telling me you're there at 3:35 and not 3:38? Is that what's happening?
3:38. But I think
okay,
that's
3:38.
How many minutes is the early is that? That's like 50 minutes. How many minutes early is that? 38 versus 4:13. But anyways, it's at least over double Lombardi time. So more than double the 15 minutes. So I thought that's kind of fun. Vince Lombardi, the Super Bowl trophy is named after him. I thought that would be fun.
100%.
But I think I didn't answer the question. So ask the question again. Let me make sure.
The question is, what do you do for your personal health and your mental health to make sure that you show up every single day at 3:38? Because that's the power of consistency. Is when you show up, you can move your life forward. I mean, it's compounding interest. It's the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. It's the thing that my grandfather taught me, which is why it's so important for me to stay curious, to get involved, to ask for help, to do that every single day. Those are the things that I do to move my life forward. Is how do I do that, and how do I find communities that help me do that and inspire me to do that? But when you do that consistently, if I don't show up for myself at 4 a.m., if you don't show up at 3:38 a.m., like, it's not even a question to you. I'm sure for you, it's not like you'll always be there. Is that correct?
But I don't know. It's just, I've always been there when I did them on Zoom. I always was there when I did them live.
Do you never get sick?
No, Jim, I think sickness is just a weakness leaving the body. So does weakness leave my body?
It's probably where we're the same.
Yes,
does weakness leave
the body? Yes, weakness leaves the body occasionally. And the thing that I say that I do is I drink water every day. A lot of the times when we're on there, that keeps me healthy, and then I walk. So some of the times that we're on the 413, as I'm walking, it's to try to stay mentally alert. I don't drink as much coffee as I used to. I do things. That's the pull-up bar.
Yeah.
There's a dipping and
How many
pull-up
pull-ups
bar.
can you do?
Oh, I don't know, not many, but I'm not doing them on video. That's for sure. I mean, you got me doing.
I'll get you doing a TikTok video. If I get Steven doing a TikTok video of pull-ups, then you know we've gone deep social.
Yeah, but you know, I you know, I don't know. I can do a few, but I look at that and I just do things that are healthy, hang around with people that are positive. You know, if you're around people that are positive, you really are enjoying what you're doing. You're enjoying the people that you're engaged with. You're enjoying the people that you're engaged with. You're enjoying what you're doing. You know, you wake up every morning and just go, how do I do as much good as I can every day? Yeah, because what I really see the 413 does for people is there's a couple components of it. Is, you know, it started on Clubhouse when I was in a room. So on Clubhouse, it came from there was rooms where I'd go in and there was people that definitely were going through some challenges. I'm like, okay, this is no fun listening to this. And I said, what if we did something different? Another person named Nadir, he inspired me on this. So he's a younger guy out of London. So here we are. I'm a guy in Southern California talking to this person in London, and he went on my Zoom calls, and it led to, okay, what's going to make a community work? And he said, oh, consistency. And his two words were consistency and being concise. Because, you know, people don't have patience to listen to something long. Like this is weird for me because, you know, I don't listen to podcasts, but concise and consistent works in a community. And I do buy into those because people's attention spans are low. So I'm like, I don't even know what to say or do to, you know, how do you keep engagement for a long period of time? I don't know, because I don't know how to do it.
Well, you do a phenomenal job as the host of the 413 to keep engagement by moving between one story to another story, because you're focusing on words, on concise words, on tell me 3 words of gratitude. By doing that, you're focusing my thought pattern, but then through the audio of somebody like Susan, who's in New Zealand, she'll share her gratitude, and that might make an impact on me. Maybe those were the exact words that I needed to hear. And that's really the power of what's happening in the 413. The way that you've structured the room, it's different every day. There are different stories every day. There's different people that are on stage every day. But you also, as the host, you make even the people and the speakers followed by speakers who aren't on stage feel like they're welcome. You engage in them to let them know, which is what we do in hospitality, and what we teach is so much of life is making memorable moments. If you make a memorable moment, then you actually do want to show up the next time to have more memorable moments.
Yeah, I think that when I think of the 413, when you mention those things, you know, we do a 4 and 40. 4 things you're thankful for in 40 seconds or less. And then someplace in the middle, what are 10 words of encouragement? And then at the end, what are 4 words you'll take with you today to move your life forward today? Because, you know, at the end, you know, what words you're taking, like how it ends, you know, when you're going, what are 4 words you'll take with you today to move your life forward today? I think people need words to move forward. Forward thinking is super important. Encouragement, you know, encouragement's important. And being grateful and thankful is important, because if you reverse those things, who wants to be around somebody that's ungrateful, discouraged, and perpetually discouraged and backwards thinking? I don't want to. I mean, nobody wants to hang out with backwards thinkers that are discouraged, that are ungrateful. So yeah, I look at it and go, that's something that part of the driver is, would I attend it myself? Yeah, I mean, that's a simple thing.
Sure.
I think in restaurant stuff, it's probably would be similar to this. You know, be careful the food somebody's serving you if they won't eat the same food with you, right? Yep. So if I won't eat the same food with the people that are coming in, if I won't be there, listen to the whole thing, why should I tell somebody to be there for the whole thing? That's another thing I looked at is I'd see these rooms and clubs that would go long, and it's like, these people don't even want to stay the whole time for their own. Why should I, you know? Or you just see people that are sharing stuff, and you listen to people sharing stuff, you're going, oh, that's discouraging, that's not uplifting. So the conciseness is to make sure it's effective so people can get on with their day. They're not having to spend 2 hours in there. They can spend 1 hour and 22 minutes, even if they have to leave early or if they've listened to part of it, they're still going to be pressed forward. They're going to move forward in their life. whatever they're doing outside of Clubhouse.
So what Susan submitted a question, and she's phenomenal. She runs the LinkedIn group on the 413, which I highly suggest you guys sign up for. At first, you have to attend the 413 and take the challenge, because only through doing do you actually decide if this is for you. And there's a reason why you're listening to this podcast. If it wasn't something that you found value in, then you wouldn't listen. You just turn it off. And we're grateful that you do listen, but we also want you to move your life forward as well. We want the words that Steven's talking about, the things that this 413, this building of this community on this app, it extends because it's audio storytelling, but it's also what we care about, which is making forever friendships. I mean, these forever friendships become business and become personal friendships that literally you would have never expected otherwise. I mean, the people that the diversity of thought, I think, is one of the greatest things about the 413 is there's so many people from so many different age groups, from so many different backgrounds, from so many different religions that come in that have ideas that move me forward, that make an impact on me, which is why I keep showing up. So Susan's question is, many people would say that meeting for an hour and 22 minutes every single day is something that a successful person would never have time for. Why do people that are successful show up the way that they do? Because so many people in that room are successful. And why do they keep showing up? Why do you think that is?
I think they're getting a community piece. I think friendships are getting formed there. Genuine friendships are being formed there. I think that they're getting value that goes beyond monetary value. I think they're getting a genuine community, which is, people talk about community, they talk about those things. I don't even know what to call it. Because I mean, I think calling it a community almost marginalizes how powerful it is, because that word is thrown around. If you go online, you see the word communities on every single thing. I signed up for an email, and I get an email that says, "Welcome to the community." Like, I don't know anybody, and I mean, what is?
So I don't know anyone else on this email list. How am I part of the community?
Because I signed up for an email, and this morning, that's not like a month ago, a year ago. So
hopefully that wasn't the Cali BBQ Media email. I don't think we say that.
So I opened this, I'm like, community, what in the world did that mean? The person that so I signed up for an email, and now I'm part of a community. I think that when people are hearing each other talk, they're having people show up, they're engaging with them on cross media, cross pollinating on different platforms, either through LinkedIn. And I think when you're starting to get people on multiple platforms, it gets very interesting. When you're starting to get people on LinkedIn, and you're starting to get people on Instagram. I think the reason that you and I think here's the advantage Clubhouse has. So here's the pitch on Clubhouse, is that you're by nature going to get early adopters, which are going to be creative people, innovative people willing to think way outside the box. You're not going to get just your early adopters. I think are just going to be more innovative. They're going to take more chances. They're going to do more things in business. So that's why I think it's so critical to go, we're going to roll with whoever shows up, because it's not just a general population. When you're on Clubhouse, these people there undoubtedly are early adopters. They're willing to take chances. They're doing things different. They're way outside the box already. And then you got the 413 that's outside the box, which is out of the outside the box. So we're like beyond outside the building, taking chances and doing things. And that's, I think, what's super, super exciting about the people that are there. I mean, I get excited about it because I think there's nothing to copy. We're not copying people. There's nobody doing a 3:37 a.m. meeting that I'm going, well, maybe I can do 3:38 at least in the morning. There's nobody doing that. There's nobody going, oh, let's just meet 7 days a week. I don't know 7-day-a-week communities. Where are you going to get a 7-day-a-week community I can go pop in tomorrow before 4 a.m? I mean, I don't know if they exist. It may not exist. So we're boldly going where no people are going yet before. So that's the community. The community is taking chances. We're doing things around the world that we're not copying anybody. There's nobody to be copying. So when you're coming together and going, where are you going? You go, hey, every day that we're there, we're doing things nobody else is doing. We're hyper innovating. We're hyper innovating no matter which way you slice it, dice it, or mince it. Unless you're going to go start doing something 7 days a week, you're not copying what we're doing. Unless you're going to do it 7 days a week relentlessly, there's nothing like it. So
I love the fact that you talk about the early adopters. And one of the things that we've found is the people that are willing to go on different social media platforms, especially now with the proliferation of Clubhouse and TikTok, where these social media apps are starting to understand it's okay to let somebody, a creator, actually put their other social handle in the app. So like I said, Clubhouse allows you to put your Twitter profile and your Instagram profile. It would be great if they allowed you to put your LinkedIn profile, but because you do that, now you develop a deeper connection with somebody that shows up. Like I said, I found you through Instagram. You came into my Instagram DMs, but then I followed you on Clubhouse. I listened to your room on Clubhouse, and now we're a LinkedIn connection. Now we're on a podcast. Soon you're going to be eating barbecue in real life. Like, this is how deep connections get made, because you start to find out things that you're attracted to. You know, who you are and what you do. You're going to weed out the stuff that you don't care about and the things that don't compel you to move your life forward. You know, if you're listening to this podcast, we hope that you listen next week, and we hope that you listen the week after that. And it's our job to bring on people that are playing the game within the game, that are willing to do things that are different, that are trailblazing. I want to ask you about your YouTube channel. When did you start your YouTube channel?
Oh, my YouTube channel was a total experiment years ago. If somebody looks at my YouTube channel, you know what they're going to see? They're going to see I had these headphones when I used to do animations. So if you look at my YouTube channel, there's maybe like 4 videos on there, and they're all videos that I made doing using Blender. So I taught myself how to do animation. Like, I know how to do VR and AR animation through that. And I made stuff like I'll show you an example. I know how to make, you know, like that's like
there you go. If you're watching on YouTube,
stuff.
You can see what Steven's talking about.
Yeah, but you know, so I made animation stuff, you know, and it's through open source.
So more importantly, I want to know why did you call yourself a media company?
I don't really call myself a media company.
It says Steven Musielski.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what that was? I had a person that was 17 years old. I hired, and he made all my media stuff, and he just called it that. He said, "Steve, I'm going to call it this." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I have a 17.
So you were a media company before you knew you were a media company.
Yeah. So I have this 17-year-old kid that comes in there, and he just says, long story there, but I used to lead a Bible study in his parents' house. Mm-hmm. And so I knew him probably when he was like 13, 14. And, you know, and then I hired him when he was 17, and he made all my media, like all this stuff he made, like the videos he made, put them all. He got me on Slack. He got me to be an early adopter on all these things. He got my LinkedIn growing. He grew my LinkedIn by 5,000 people. So he did all these things because, you know, and yeah, so I think he would have had me go on this as well, go on to Clubhouse. And this is my first time really doing a legit podcast. Like, I have no interest in doing podcasts, but for you,
why not? Why not?
You know what? It's just, you know, I don't really, I don't know. I mean, I don't have a great reason to do it, and I don't have.
What are your goals for the 413? You told me you tell us all the time that your goal is to monetize the 413.
But you know what? Here's what I look at in the 413 is it's doing things nobody else has done. Because I typically look. Okay, so here's a core takeaway. If somebody wants to understand how I see business, how I see monetization, and how I see monetization working for anything, I see it through a couple of core principles. Here's how monetization starts. So step 1, 2 things, 2 questions for any business, anything, and you're doing these 2. You have to do one of these 2. What are you willing to do others won't? And what are you able to do others can't? I mean, ideally, you want to get to a point where you're doing stuff other people can't do, but you have to start with what are you willing to do that others won't? Because that's a business is moving somebody from A to be, getting them to spend money on your product or service, getting people, whether that be, and your product or service, maybe you just being an employee working for an employer, or we're trading, you're going, this is what I deserve for the amount of stuff I'm doing for you. I'll do this for you and you pay me this much. I mean, so even if you're an employee, you're a salesperson, you're selling your time, or you're selling your
everybody's
service.
In sales.
Everybody's in sales.
My son is in sales. He's 4 years old. My daughter's in sales. She's 2.
Yeah, so it sells you on why
on
they
screen time. Yeah, correct.
Okay, you're right.
Green
Even
time or
kids in-
candy for sure. We're all selling. We don't realize, but literally we're all selling all day long.
I'd have to agree with you, but that's what I look at is that. So it starts with what are you willing to do that others won't, and then what can you do that others can't. And I think the monetization is turning into more of you build the relation. The most important part of monetization that we're doing in the 413 is we're building up emotional toughness at first. Like you got to, and because that's going to come if you're thankful, and if you're encouraged, and thankful, you're encouraged, and you're forward thinking. Those are great foundation building blocks, no matter how you're making money. No matter, I mean, because you're going to get hit. You're going to take rejection. Like the person that you met Wacaz, who runs a publicly traded company, he talked about going 0 for 50. Now, when you're going 0 for 50, meaning 50 of what you're shooting for does not happen in a row, it's hard to do 51. You're emotionally beat up. You don't want to do 51. You want to start looking for some tricky, fancy ways around it. But what I appreciated about you is when you told me your story of how you improvised, adapted, overcame different things in what you did. And that's why I connected with you on a business level. So you had to do some things differently. You had to grind, you had to push, you had to press, and you had to figure out ways to move forward regardless of what was in front of you. And I think that's a big part of business. And that's where it's exciting being in the 413 is that people are getting built up before they're going out into war. Business, because you're going to get smashed, you're going to get hurt, you're going to and life is going to. So even if you don't get hammered in business, to think that negative things aren't going to happen in life is not true either. So you're going to have negative things that are going to happen in life, and so you got to build those strengths up before the storm comes. So it's building up the resilience, the toughness, the energy before things hit, not going, oh, okay, something's hit. Now let me go get a personal development book and hopefully it bails me out. That's not wise. It's very hard. So what you want to do is build yourself up before you need it. So it's building up reserves. And that's one of the people that drive me as my mentor, Peter Daniels, billionaire, that changed my life is, the importance of building up reserves. And emotional reserves, financial reserves, people reserves. And what I'm seeing getting built up in the 413 is people are building up people reserves. They're building up their emotional reserves. They're building up innovative reserves. So if they run into a problem, they're getting radically different ways to potentially solve them and to look at them. And I think that's super healthy, super exciting, and a cool reason to be there for those few things alone, but there's more. What other questions do you have for me?
Do you believe that people grow by being uncomfortable?
Oh yeah, resistance. Yeah, I mean you got to have resistance to grow.
Is that why you test so much?
No, I think I test so much because it's more of, well, this is the word. Okay, this is one of my favorite words, prove. And this word doikamatsu is both. It's proving it, but also the Greek word is also it's test and prove.
What's the Greek word again? Say it.
Doikamatsu.
Doikamatsu.
Doikamatsu, and that's
and that means prove.
And that means prove or test. It has it's testing things or proving things. So the testing is.
Oh, you can't prove it unless you test it, right? I mean,
probably not, right? Yeah, I mean,
you
it
have
depends.
to test first.
Well, it depends. If you're string theory, or is it a theory, or was it a hypothesis? They should have called it string hypothesis, but they called it string theory, even though they couldn't. For example, string theory was called a theory, and technically you're supposed to be able to test a theory, but string theory at first was just a hypothesis because they couldn't even falsify it. So if you can't falsify something, how do you call it a theory? Well, you know how you call it a theory? String hypothesis doesn't sound as cool as string theory.
There you go. Yeah, semantics.
So you probably have more questions. How many questions do you have for me from the 413 people?
From the 413 people, I probably have no joke 27 questions.
You want to hit some more? Let's go.
I do want to hit some more.
Let's hammer.
Vivek, who is amazing financial planner, he wants to know, who is someone you wish you had done more for?
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, you know what? The list is long, but there's been people that have worked with me. There's been a number of people that have worked with me, and
worked with you or worked for you?
Both. Well, yeah, worked for me, and it was interesting. There was a time where I remember when it was 9/11 and 9/11 hit, and there was like 4 people that were working with me. And, I wish I would have been a little bit more hardcore then and not backed off, because I think I backed off and said, oh, this isn't right. So they left. But I wish I would have done more in those moments. And there's people that have worked with me and
Done more like what?
Oh, I wasn't working as hard then. There's like I backed off and I didn't work as hard because when the market was shut down for those days, I
Yeah.
didn't work as hard. And I wish I would have during that time to just shown a better example of just being courageous when the market was shut down. Because I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. I wasn't sure. And that's one thing that rang.
Was that a
in.
difficult moment for you in your life?
Well, it was difficult in that I knew I should be. It's one of those moments where you should be doing something and you're not. Like it's the right time to just press, and you're not pressing. And but there were times where people in business were going through rough times, and I didn't know what to say or do for them. And I wish I would have known better things to have done for them. Like I wish I knew. Like, for example, I wish there was a 413 to have brought these business people in that were really, really in bad positions. Because you know what I did that was stupid? When looking back, I thought that by listening to people, it would help them. I thought that. I used to think, oh, well, it's the most compassionate thing to do. No, it wasn't. So I wish I would have done more in saying, hey, look, stay on focus with your business. Keep grinding in your business, because I can listen to you for 2 hours and you're going to have 2 more hours you're going to have to share with me. And then after those 2 hours, you're going to have 8 more hours you're going to need to share with me. Let's just go do something productive together. Instead of being so full of myself, I thought I could listen to people long enough for them to get it all out. And that was dumb. Now I've changed my mind on it. Listening to somebody for 5 minutes, like if you're going through a tough time, you called me up and said, Steve, I'm going through a rough time. Yeah, I'll give you 5 minutes, maybe 15, but we're not going to go to minute 16. I'm going to be like, okay, I heard you for 5 minutes. Life sucks. Okay. In this life we're living in, we're going to have sorrows. We're going to have pains. Well, I don't think this is healthy talking about it. Let's go do something super productive. And that's going to take your mind off of it. And we'll go make a difference in people's lives. But I used to think that by listening to somebody, it would help. And it doesn't. It doesn't. In fact, that's a big part of what flipped me on Clubhouse. Is I'd listen to people. The people actually thought by listening to these people, they were helping them. And what it really was doing is just not helping them. So when people come into the 413, they're going to share 4 things they're thankful for. That takes your mind off of the garbage, because there's going to always be something to complain about. There's always going to be something to mourn about. There's always going to be something to, what's that? What's that? I can't find out the Clubhouse. What's the playing
the violin, the smallest violin in the world.
No, what's the Clubhouse audio way of doing that? Because I think that's the one thing I miss on Clubhouse is I can't.
Yeah, you can't do that on Clubhouse. You can only clap.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to come up with an audio for what playing the smallest violin in the world is for people. It's like, oh, come on, moving on. Next.
Well, that's I mean, for me, it's the gift of Clubhouse is so much has to do with the host. And if the host isn't a good host, you can't really have a good room, because people, and it's the same as a radio program. I'm a huge sports talk radio show fan. I've listened, for my whole entire life, listening to sports talk announcers that I love. The best ones understand they get the caller in, they get the caller out. They know how to get the best out of the caller, that user generated content, to find out what's top of mind for the people that are listening to this program. How do I bring them into the story? How do I make it a story of one? But how do I connect? How do I connect on a deep level? Another question I have from Larry Lung is, what's your greatest fear?
It's always supposed to be your greatest fear is fear itself, right? That's the cue.
There you go, right?
Yeah, but that's the scripted one. Is I think closing the gap. Like sometimes I'm very afraid of going as big as I should. Like, right as I opened, I think I was afraid of, saying, hey, look, we really, really, really should bring on. I'd really like to have you like Elon Musk on, and we talk about brisket versus tri-tip, and have you host it, and because people have
I want to talk to Elon Musk about getting barbecue on SpaceX. That's what I want to talk to him about.
Because Musk and Musielski, they both start the same. Mine's just a lot harder after the "ma" part.
Yeah.
So, but I would love to talk to Elon Musk about tri-tip versus brisket with you. And I didn't start that way, and I thought, man, that would be great. But even people like like when I thought about you, I'm thinking, so I'm always afraid, like in this, I'm like afraid.
Are you afraid if people don't show up? What if you went in the room tomorrow and no one showed up? Would you be afraid?
Oh no! Do you know what I think? I'd laugh. I'd be like, okay, these people are okay. So what in the heavens happened here? But if it went down, I think mathematically, if it went down like 4 people, it'd just be like, oh, I guess I'm going to get to know these people better. Or if it's 12 people, I guess we're going to do round robin ways different. Because when it first started out, it was less. It was a dozen people. Which when you ask about that, okay, so here's a fear I have about that. So I'll pretend Larry's here with us. Larry, I would say this. One of the things is really setting this community up to show genuine succession. Like here's one of the things you look at. Like you say you start splitting up rooms. They used to do like breakout rooms. So you say you give somebody 12 people, hey, lead this group of 12 people within the 413. Here's what's really, really tough about small group leadership is that what happens, say you get 10 people to lead. Right? You think, okay, this is great. I'm going to lead these 10 people. And then it's 3 months in. Okay. So here's what happens. You're 3 months in. If everybody stays, 3 of them are going to drive the leader just batty. And they're going to go, I don't want to do this anymore because those 3 people are in. Or they lose 3 people and they can't bring people in. And then what they go to is they hammer the leader and go, well, you're the leader. You lost these people. Come on, bring in somebody. And they lose the wrong person that's super hard to replace. And the group looks at him and goes, what are you going to do about it? You're the leader. Fill this up. And that's what happens in so many small groups is that I think that's what I'm trying to do is really model small group leadership for people and show them how to do it. Have enough people in there, because once you cross over, say 25 people stop asking for the most part, oh, where's so-and-so? Where's so-and-so? It occasionally happens if there's a strong leader in the community. When it's small, they hammer the leader relentlessly of, sure. Oh, where did so-and-so go? Where did so-and-so go? They were here. And then now the challenge is, so here's a fear that I have. I'm concerned that I'd to be transparent is, say I'm a 413, and you get people that miss out on the best part of 413 because they get goal diffused. Clubhouse is very, very good at getting people goal diffused because they go into one room and they go into all these other things and they start. That's what I've seen happen is when people start launching other things, doing other things, and they burn out. And then you burn out a really, really good person that really could do a lot for the 413. But it's, people start spending 3 hours on there. It's different than spending an hour and 22 minutes. Very different. Very different. And then, I guess my biggest fear would be if I handed this community over to somebody and the community, say it scales up, because I wouldn't have done it unless I thought it could get at least 5,000 people a day in it. So you scale it up, somebody takes over, and the person struggles, because my goal is to make sure when it gets handed off, it will be able to turn into something much bigger than what I handed it off as, easier than what it was for me.
Yeah.
Because I don't see that done a lot. My fear is I can't figure out how to do succession planning, because there's not a good 3:38 a.m. thing to do. There's not a good succession plan people. Or, you've been on there. I don't know if you've been on there when I asked the question of, when you think of succession planning, who are the names that you think of in 2021? We're not talking about Steve Jobs, who's dead, passing it on to Tim Cook. We're talking about in 2021, who are 3 or 4 leaders where you think of, here's the leader's name and here's who they're passing it down to. Because that's exciting for the 413, going, how do we build this up so this can be handed down to somebody in a way that they take it to a different level. And I do things to even help accelerate that as well. So that's where it's exciting. I'm not going to share all the secrets behind that. There's some stuff coming that is just absolutely going to blow people's minds for sure.
Well, so Alan asked, how do you hyperscale community conversations without forgetting the people that were there in the very beginning?
What do you know what's interesting is you, as things grow and expand, here's the challenge with community. You have to pick which sword you're going to die on, because you're going to die on one or the other. Either as it grows, you have to either go, we're going to reward the doers at the moment. Like you have to run with the runners. You have to go, okay, who's bringing the most value? And you've got to go with who's the hot hand right now. You have to, or it's back to the same thing. If you think you're gonna get ahead by listening to people, it doesn't necessarily work. You have to look at who is moving the community forward. And as the leader, you have to run with the person that's going to move the community forward the most. You have to.
So is the 413 bigger than an audio platform, an audio community?
Absolutely, for sure. Because I mean, because once you start talking to people, once you have their cell phone numbers, once you're having conversations on Zoom.
Once Maxwell hears our story and comes literally from Orange County to drive to our restaurant to eat barbecue.
Yeah. You know what? It was interesting. Maxwell and I met Maxwell too, and you met Maxwell. So it's one of the common.
I haven't met him yet, but he's made it to Cali BBQ. He's had food there. He took a selfie with our staff, and I mean, we're grateful. Like I said, I mean, I tell people all the time, we didn't start a podcast so that we could get people to come in and buy barbecue at our restaurant. Like, it's so much bigger than barbecue. We're teaching and empowering people how to tell stories the same way that my grandfather wanted to tell his story, and I helped him do that back in 2004. We didn't have the technology that we have now in 2021 to share our stories, to do a video, to talk to our loved ones, the people that we care about, the stories that we hear at the dinner table, the stories that we hear at reunions. We take those for granted. And literally, we have the greatest gift available in that smartphone, that we can use the camera app and record video of our loved ones. We can ask those. Start to think of it as a journalist, start to think of it as a reporter, and ask your mom, ask your dad, ask your grandfather questions about. They tell the same stories over and over. Don't roll your eyes. Ask them more stories. Expand on those stories. You'll never believe what you can uncover. And once you do that, you have the greatest gift that you can pass on to the next generation.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I thought, so when you invited me on this, part of me sometimes is like, what it starts to, like, as I said,
you like to overthink things.
Would you
you like to analyze everything.
I look at it and I think,
what's this guy's angle? This barbecue. What's this barbecue media guy want out of me?
No,
wants me to come on video.
Barbecue's cool. Nobody can hate on barbecue. When I was thinking of barbecue, I thought, well, let me ask you this: you do barbecue. What is the favorite? Like, I thought, what is the favorite song type for barbecue eaters on Saturday? So on football day, it's probably one type, but on non-football day, I was like, I wonder what type of music even barbecue eaters are they into. So it's like, are they hard rock people? Are they country western people?
Well, it's funny that you ask that, because literally we put on professional barbecue events at the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club, and we meet with their event organizers who put on concerts. You name the type of concert: hip hop concert, country rock, you name it, the entire gambit. And literally, barbecue falls into any category.
Does it? Okay.
I mean, because of the live fire cooking, because it's literally enjoyed all over the globe, it's done all over with all different types of music.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting, because I thought, do they listen to country western music? Do they listen to rock, or what in the heavens is it?
So tell me more about video. I want to talk
Sure.
about the 413 and how to scale with video, adding images.
Okay, so here's what we can do. You want to do something?
Yeah, I want to do something right here on this podcast. This is recorded, so I can hold you to it.
Okay, so there's a couple ideas I have.
Okay.
You want to do. So there's a private community in Laguna Beach. I thought, okay, come down and we'll do a video there with some barbecue conversation in Laguna Beach. Will you bring barbecue up and we'll do a video on a private beach there?
Yeah, we can absolutely do that. That's easy.
That sounds fun. And then, because I thought.
Well, the question for me on the deeper question is what we care about, which is teaching people that it's so much easier than we make it out to be. Like social media, spreading, having more people come into the 413. If the people that are in the 413, if the person listening to this podcast, if anything that we're saying resonates with you and you go, yes, I believe in that. Yes, I know that I can move my business forward if I take a video of myself talking about why I attend the 413 and I post that on LinkedIn or I post that on Instagram, then maybe somebody that's following me goes, that's exactly the message that I needed to hear. I need a group of gratitude. I need a group where gratitude is something that's in the forefront. I'm going to download the Clubhouse app because I'm not on Clubhouse, but I'm going to download that app. And now I'm going to do it because of the video that I saw. That's the video, audio, written word, and images. It's how do we start telling stories in more places so that we can really move the community forward?
Yeah, because you know what I think would be interesting is having we've done a live event one time. It was a LinkedIn live event in Orange County where some people, and it actually worked really well. So I think doing something live where we do something and we bring in people from the 413. We did one in Orange County, and we had live people, and people were actually loading on the app at a coffee shop, and it was kind of interesting seeing people joining in live in person, but joining the audio app as we were having conversations on Clubhouse. So I think
something cool would be too, just thinking off the top of my head, is seeing pictures of people's phones, like whether it's the sunrise or sunset, because literally it's all over the globe. I mean, Susan's joining from New Zealand, and it's close to midnight.
Oh, that's fun, right?
But getting a picture of, their phone, the same way Jocko does, the same way that I do every morning, but this is when we're starting to listen to it, but sharing those images, like that's not even video, but if it's just an image and understanding, like this is the global impact. I mean, when I hear somebody share in the 413 that they're tuning in from Singapore, or they're tuning in from Vietnam, or, or from London, it reminds me of the power of the internet. It reminds me of the power of the Clubhouse. And it reminds me of why the 413 is so powerful, is because all of these people, we're all connected. We're all boots on the ground. We all have something in that message of gratitude, in that message of moving forward, that we want to be connected to.
That sounds fun.
You like it?
Sounds fun. Well, I mean,
so what, I have another question. I have a better question. Sure. When are you going to update your profile picture on LinkedIn and on Instagram?
Oh, never.
Why not? Do you need me to take a profile? Do you need me to take a? I can get a profile picture of you, Steven. I'll get you from the good side.
Do you know what's super fun?
Tell me. I need to know why you can't. Why you can't have your face on LinkedIn or on Instagram.
It's more of what I stand for, not what I stand against. Like, I don't stand against people having their profile pictures. I kind of the phone is something that I stand for because it represents like a calling. And
yes, it's an old phone, a pay phone.
Yeah, so it's a calling thing, and it's a. Yeah, so there's I thought about
but isn't it? I mean, there's people that made comments to me in the 413 that said I could hear Steven anywhere, and I would know that that's Steven. I know his voice that well. I hear him every day. I know his voice that well, but I don't know what he looks like.
Oh, I know this way I get to send him the video that you're gonna. Okay, you know what's funny is that 5 million person video thing that you're gonna share.
Do you believe in branding?
No.
You don't believe in branding?
No.
Come on, you believe in branding? Of course you do. You talk about Apple, you talk about Elon Musk. Of course you believe in branding.
Do you know what's interesting?
You don't believe in personal branding. Is that what we're getting at?
You know, I remember this. So here's my thought on branding. Here's why I thought I remember going to a branding event, right?
Okay. And a personal branding or a business branding?
Both. So it's a branding community. And so there are all these branding people.
Yes.
I thought, are they going to pull out the iron and start branding each
other?
Correct.
That's correct.
So I'm here in Orange County, and I'm at a local branding place, and there's like 15 of them, and I'm the only non-branding person because they're having me there to talk about branding with them. And what was interesting with this is I look at just tools, right? I look at it as a tool. I don't call it necessarily branding. I look at it as a tool. Like me not having a picture, I use as a tool, because then I send them the video. Because you know what they'll do is they'll DM me and say, I don't know what my picture looks like. And then I'll send them one video. And then they'll say, well, yeah, that's nice. And then I send them another one. And then I send them another one. And then I send them another one. And they're all private. So it's interesting to try to guess how many videos these people think I'm going to have. And then it's like, because then it gives me permission to keep sharing video. Because you've only seen maybe How many of my videos have you seen?
I've seen all your YouTube videos. I'm very diligent.
No, but I have the hidden ones.
Oh, the hidden ones, the ones where you've appeared on there that are not on your channel.
Yeah. So I have 50 of those.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I don't know if that's branding, to do hidden branding, but what is that called when you have like 50 backup videos and you're really baiting people in to get you to complain about your videos, and you say, you haven't even seen half my videos yet.
Correct. Well, I mean, we have all kinds of videos. I was actually just at a baby gender reveal party for one of our closest friends, Victoria and Rado, yesterday. My wife and I took cell phone videos. She took cell phone photos. But on our YouTube channel, the most popular video, and we have hundreds of videos of us being on the news, us doing, interviews with influencers. The most popular videos are our personal 2 gender reveal videos, where it's my son's gender reveal video and my daughter's gender reveal video. And that just goes to the power of video, the power of storytelling, the power of connection.
Yeah,
I mean, the power of connection. People, we buy from people. We want memorable experiences from people. If I know who Steven is, if I listen to who Steven is, I want to see Steven, so that when he's in a crowd, when I go to SoFi Stadium, and for whatever reason you're there, I want to know, hey, that's Steven.
Yeah.
I know that's Steven because I listen to him every single morning. I listen to him moderate the room. So are you going to update your profile picture? No. What do you need? What do you need to do to update your profile picture?
Get me on with Elon Musk. We'll talk about it.
Get you on with Elon Musk.
Okay. So here's my thing. So I think if he even this is I'm a Corvette person over a Tesla person, right?
Okay, Corvette. See, you believe in brand. What are you talking about?
Well, I don't know. I drive a Corvette.
So you believe in brand? 100%. You believe in brand.
Oh, I don't know.
What do you mean? Why do you choose a Corvette then?
But you know, it's a family thing.
It's a family thing. It's a brand thing.
It's a family thing.
You just showed me the logo of the Corvette. It's 100% a brand thing.
Because you know, it's a tool. So if that hat can get you to get Elon Musk on with me, because you know what I was thinking about? I thought, man, wouldn't it be cool? Because I thought about the people who I'd like to be on talking about like barbecue with, and I was thinking, do I mention Dana White?
UFC.
UFC, or Jocko, or Elon Musk. I'd really love to. I would have to change. Like if Elon Musk sent me a Tesla to drive instead of my Corvette, and said, Steve, you have to move from your Corvette to your Tesla, and goes on a podcast, and we could talk about barbecue. That would be fun. I'd probably have to change my picture for that.
I love it. Well, we're gonna get you to change your picture. That's definitely a goal of mine. I know you know the value of images. Images everything. Andre Agassi taught me that in the 1980s with his sharp commercials.
Who else do we have to have a question from? Do we have more people?
We have more questions, but more importantly, I want you to speak to our audience, the digital hospitality audience, awesome. And let the digital hospitality audience know kind of why behind audio and building community on audio, why it's so important. They already know because they're listening to the podcast. If you're listening to it on YouTube, we're grateful for you, but you're listening. So why audio and why Clubhouse?
Well, you know what? I would say if you're in hospitality, you're a 7-day-a-week business. Hospitality people work hard. There's a lot to be honored there, because if you're in hospitality and you're doing hospitality business,
aren't you in hospitality, Steven?
Oh, I know. We're gonna redefine branding. Now we're gonna redefine.
Yeah, no, but that's literally our thesis. Our thesis is everyone is in hospitality. You are in hospitality. Your role in the 413 is in hospitality.
Yeah, I guess
whether you realize it or not. Yes, you're not in hotels or restaurants, but you are making memorable moments. You are in hospitality, 100%.
So how would you define hospitality to make sure I give it to your audience in a way that's?
Hospitality is the ability to connect to another human and to make a memorable moment, to make a memorable experience.
Yeah, I definitely think that. Here's an example. Video and audio is. Video is important. I think of that when I went on that vegans versus meat eaters, which you're going to put it in the
yeah, we'll put it in the show notes for sure.
Okay. You know what's interesting about that is so that those people and I went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But you know what's super cool about that is I have these pictures that I have with them afterwards. And they are super valuable to me. I don't post them anywhere. I don't share them or anything. And those are super valuable to me. And you know, if I look at the video where I have a mentor that made a video for me, it's super valuable.
I've seen it.
I think when
I've seen it, and that Steven, that before I want to interrupt you, because the video that you have from your mentor is exactly what we talk about. Is there's opportunities around us every single day. You can literally stop listening to this podcast, you can put it down, and you can talk to somebody and share that, but document it with video.
Yes,
with the smartphone.
Yeah, and you know what I was thinking of doing is it's interesting because one of the things that rang through my head is, you know, that mentor that's in that video. I said to myself, oh, I have to do one. You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about you. I said, oh, we should probably get barbecue, have a barbecue with my buddy that's one of my mentors, videotape that because it would connect you with my mentor. And that's what I was like, I have to ask him, get it set up. But I think that would cement this together in a really cool way. Because but you know, I'm going to ask him because that would be a super cool video to have. You get to meet my mentor. We had barbecue with him or something. I think when you're doing anything, when you have pictures, when you have video, when you have written word, and you shared about your family. I don't know how often you've talked about, you know, the book that you've written. That's touching because you know, I listen to the videos and the audios that I have of people that I keep in like the hidden form, and I think it's critical to have audio, video, and things like that. Like what you're doing by hammering people to have video content, to have audio content, is, you know, those things do live on. And you know, because I do have audios and video recordings of people who have passed, and there is value there. It is pretty special when you have them. So I look at it, if that's creating memorable moments using video and audio, I think it's really, really, really critical. So, I mean, I don't know exactly how I put it that you haven't put it or how I would share it differently other than, hey, like if you have a mentor, get them on video, get the person on video. If you have something in business that you're going to do that's very unique, get it on video, get a picture of it, get a recording of it, get something of it. Because you know what? It's interesting when you came in. I think the 413 is rewriting history together. There's nobody doing 7-day-a-week communities. I mean, it's a 7-day-a-week community. Come in there, you'll get encouraged. You know, there's the people will reach out to you, the people care about each other, the people engage with one another. And it's unexpected because you're meeting on an audio app, and there's people that will reach out to you on your Instagram. There's people that will reach out to you on your LinkedIn. And there's people that will look for ways to help you and put you in positions where you can do well in whatever business that you're in. But there's a deep level of encouragement, a deep level of compassion that I've never seen in any other community. The compassion there for people, they'll jump on a call with you. Lots of people jump on a call with you, and that goes way beyond an app where they'll jump on a phone call with you and have a conversation with you. It'll go for an hour, 2 hours.
So Steven, do you have any words of encouragement to move our community forward, the people listening to this podcast? How would you like to end this show?
Okay, Jim, I would say this. To do well, you have to be hardcore and forward thinking. To do well, you have to be hardcore and forward thinking. Because if you're in a business, you're going to have to be hardcore about it. You can try to pretend and weasel your way around it, but to do well, you have to be hardcore and forward thinking. And that's a quote from Bill Gates. But I'll leave you also with a quote from Judas Priest.
Good.
Okay, so here's a Judas Priest one. Because in this world we're living in, we'll have our share of sorrow. The aim now is don't give in, aim for a new tomorrow. So in this world that we're living in, we'll have our share of sorrow. But the main thing now is, don't give in, aim for a new tomorrow. I think it's important to forget the former things and press forward and upward. Pressing forward and upward. Forget the former things because being thankful all the time is fantastic. Being encouraging daily is fantastic. But aiming for a new tomorrow aiming for a new tomorrow. You know, sometimes you have to dare to dream big dreams. You just got to go out and be willing to pay the price to make them come true. That's like a Disney ripoff.
I love it. Well, one of the things that'll be exciting for us is to see if we can get some of the digital hospitality fans into the 413, no matter where you listen to this podcast. You come into the 413, raise your hand so Steven knows you're there, so that I know you're there. And then we'll bring you up on stage, let us know what this podcast means to you, but also this is storytelling at its best. They're all points. Where did you hear it? How did you hear it? And what did you do after it, more importantly? So for us, it's what my grandfather taught me. It's to stay curious, which you are, since you're listening to this podcast, you're consuming this content. You're doing what so many other people are unwilling to do. You're curious, but then you have to get involved. You actually have to raise your hand. You have to do something about it to move your life forward. And then finally, you have to ask for help. You got to reach out. You got to do the work. Steven's doing the work. He's asking people to come into the 413. He's asking for leaders within the 413 to do things that will help move the 413 forward. Finally, how's the best that people can find you and the 413? What are the social handles? Have a great day.
This message I want to make sure.
That's a good message. Have a great day. Either way, have a great day. No matter what, have a great day.
So I would, if you want to find me, best place to find me is Steven. You'll put the spelling down.
I'll put the spelling down. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll put links in the show notes.
Okay. So you can look for the telephone picture.
The only person on Instagram with a telephone profile photo.
So on LinkedIn, it's also a telephone photo. So
on LinkedIn, so you got double branding. The telephone company is yet to sponsor the deal, but we'll work on the telephone sponsorship.
But don't get thrown off. So on Instagram, if you look for the telephone photo, you'll find me. And on LinkedIn, if you look for the telephone photo, find me. But you got to be careful. On Facebook, guess what you have to look for?
What's that?
The telephone photo.
There you go. So look at you. You're branding this telephone. Are you Pac Bell? Pac Bell's paying a sponsorship? I'm asking the wrong questions. Steven's sponsored by Pac Bell.
Okay, but you know what?
Bringing the payphone back.
The challenge.
I'm talking about smartphones, and Steven's talking about payphones. What's happening here?
Because you know what the challenge was? It's Facebook. You have to have a picture of your face. You're never going to get 5,000 people with friends, because I have 5,000 friends on Facebook that I hit with a payphone because people said you can't do it. So you know what I would leave people with? Hey, do things that people tell you can't be done. Don't be okay with people saying you can't do it and do it anyways. You can do more than you think. And just because somebody says you can't do something, don't believe them. Don't believe it when people say you can't do something, because people will say you can't do something, or they'll hint about it. They may not come out and say, hey, you can't do this, but their questions may allude to this can't be done. More can be done than you think. And that's why, it's very encouraging to be on with you. I'm really encouraged by, what you're doing with your brand. And I want to do anything I can to help. So if anybody in your community, if there's anything I can do to help, look me up on LinkedIn. And if I have for your community, if they say, hey, look, they know you, if
they dropped a barbecue media on you, then you know how they roll.
Yeah. So if they know you, they're friends of yours, and I have a connection or introduction or anything I can make to help them, put them in a position to win, by all means, just let me know. And appreciate you having me on. And really, thank you for all that you've done in the community, just by being there, encouraging people, talking to people. You really have made a difference in people's lives just by having deep, good conversations with them on a personal level. And I want to thank you for that. And the shout out to the community, just thank you, all of them. Because if I started naming names, then I have to name all of them. And that's like a lot of names.
70 names.
Yeah, it'd be a bunch of names.
At least it's probably more over 100 easily that come in and out for sure.
So if you want to, I want to do a follow-up. We'll do something again,
sure,
that where it'll do something great for you and something great for the 413. But I appreciate you.
Absolutely, Steven. I appreciate you being uncomfortable coming on the video podcast. Hopefully it inspired anybody from the 413 to start doing video content. It doesn't need to be long form. It can be short form. In fact, we prefer you start with short form, because then you can move to long form. But video is powerful, and video is in your pocket. Video is accessible. Yeah, go ahead,
Can I
please.
give a couple more words for him?
Please. Have a fantastic day.
Okay,
Have a terrific day.
So you can pick whatever you want to
Have a
have.
fantastic day, a terrific day, a great day.
Okay, so whatever you guys want to have. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
If
So you guys, if you
anything
want to get a hold of me, you know how to find me. It's at Sean P. Walchef, and that's Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Clubhouse. It's the 413 experience on Clubhouse. We're going to put all the links in the show notes. We're grateful that you guys listen. As always, stay curious, get involved. Don't be afraid to ask for help, and have a fantastic day. Thank you, Steven.